Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today I have 6 things for you that you may experience today as a byproduct of present energy. You've most probably noticed that after the full moon, there are still 3 days that are really intense, and the energy right now is very supportive when it comes to embracing the changes that are unfolding, the innovative ideas, creating something that can push our lives forward and maybe invent something new, or finding a new direction, or finding some deep insights in our lives. Right now, if you are in tune with yourself, a lot of moments of clarity may take place, and you may feel this today. So there are 6 things I want to give you today, but before we start, I want to remind you of gratitude, to awaken this sense of gratitude, as this is the foundation on which we are building anything, right? If we are not building things and lives and relationships on gratitude, we're building them on fear, right? And fear is always pushing things away and making us feel more needy and making us feel like we don't have enough. So my friend, how grateful you can be. How grateful you can be right now. So how are you doing? Let me know in the comment section. How are you doing today? Let's spread some love. Let's spread some gratitude today. And I'm grateful to you. Every single day I'm sharing myself with you, my art with you. There was a lot of work behind it, and I'm grateful that I have this opportunity to share myself like that. Together we've come already to 444,000 subscribers. Isn't that magical? Isn't that something really incredible? And 444 is this sign of support, right? The divine support, the energy that's moving through us. And to those of you who are familiar with creative flow and the zone, feeling like being in the zone or channeling, you know what this 444 truly means. It means that something is moving through you when your ego gives space so life can move through you. And that's where you start moving to life, right? Dancing to life. That's what 444 means. When you see this number all over the place, it means that it's time for you to dance to life. It's time for you to recognize that you're supported. It's time for you to notice that it's time to level up, that you've learned so much. Your life taught you so many lessons, harsh lessons, beautiful lessons, wisdom, knowledge, experiences, everything. So let's level up. Let's, do what you always wanted to do. Let's make these necessary changes. Let's call those people who can help you. Let's, do whatever you feel that you need to do, but you've been procrastinating on. It's time for you to become the change. That's what 444 means to you. So I'm really grateful to experience that right now because of you. So thank you so much, my friends. And what are the 6 things you may feel today? So firstly, well, as we know, Sun is in Scorpio, and it's still supporting us to build resilience and to build up these transformational powers that we all have within. The power, the wisdom of an alchemist. Alchemist is a scientist who became really wise about transformation, how to transform something. Alchemy is the science of transformation, and we are all alchemists once we learn to transform our lives. So Scorpio is teaching us of resilience. And what is resilience? Resilience means that wherever you find yourself, you can be okay with that. You will not be there forever, but if you are there, you can change it in the present moment, right? But what you can change is the way you are responding to it, the way you react to it, the way you think about it, the way you look at it. So resilience is this ability for us to observe what is happening but not react to it. That's where when we start responding out of wisdom, out of acceptance, out of love. And that is for many of us a great challenge until it becomes something natural, right? That's why it's important to be surrounded with something that can, support us at the times when it's hard. Like sometimes I have around me some ancient books, like some books about Buddhist wisdom or ancient Egyptian wisdom, or ancient Greek philosophers' wisdom, so I can reflect a little bit how they were treating certain challenging moments. Because you know what's happening? Sometimes we just don't have the right mechanism in our brain to approach a situation from a wiser level. That's why we need to have teachers around us. That's why we need to have guides and mentors around us. So if you're not resilient yet, don't be hard on yourself. It's just a reminder you need a better teacher. You need a better mentor, right? So think about how well you're supported right now. And I don't mean being supported by people around you, because most people are anyway not supporting you. Most people are too obsessed with themselves. So when you do something differently, they notice, oh, you're not living the way I'm living, so there must be something wrong with you. That's how people think. So don't feel bad about it. It's their own mental program. Scorpio right now is reminding you of resilience. So we are still in this zone where we are just teaching ourselves to adapt to anything so we can transform what is being presented to us by how we are responding to it. We transform things by how we respond to them. Have you noticed that? Because, for example, when you've been sick in your life, you haven't healed yourself because you've been so angry on yourself by becoming sick or because you've become sick. You've healed yourself because you've accepted it and found a solution, right? When you've been broke in your life, you haven't came out richer and more prosperous because you've been so angry on yourself and hard on yourself because some things have fallen apart or you've mistreated money or whatever happened. You've only came out of it because you've accepted it and you found a wiser solution, which means you've learned something new. You got a new knowledge, you found a new job with better income, or you've started your own business and you failed many times until you found a wiser way. So acceptance is the power that makes us more resilient. And that's where transformation begins. Transformation begins with acceptance and learning. Learning leads to growth, right? And learning starts with getting into new information, getting into new knowledge. And knowledge leads us to new action, right? New action leads us to new experiences. And new experiences leads us to feedback from life. And feedback from life is what? It's wisdom, isn't that? When we get feedback from our personal experiences, that's the truth. It's not something we've read, it's something we've experienced. That's how we know it's the truth. But again, it's then how we interpret it, right? How we interpret what is happening. So that's the growth that happens. And this is the art of transformation. That's what the sun right now is teaching you. And you may feel like you're in the process where you're learning to transform your life. The second thing is that you may find right now a lot of strength in life's pleasures. What does it mean? Well, life's pleasures are things that often recharge us if we do them, wisely, if we don't mistreat them. Like, for example, let's say you're a hard worker, you're working hard on something you're passionate about, but then you also do something pleasurable, like go on vacation or eat some good food. And good food can be also healthy food. It's not necessarily something unhealthy, right? When you do something pleasurable, you also find strength there. It recharges you. So then you go back at your work and you feel recharged. And most probably you've also gained some new insights because you've got yourself away from there. Well, right now is this time where we are somehow engaging with certain pleasurable activities that are building strength within us. It's like a sense of ability to recharge ourselves, to rejuvenate from life, from everything that happened. So find certain pleasures that are healthy for you and that can balance your life. Like for me, pleasurable thing is working out, even though it's sometimes weird, but I just love to do that. I love lifting weights and things like that. I was doing it for such a long time that I just love doing that, and it's a sense of pleasure. But I also love sauna and massages and things like that. So mixture of these different things that bring pleasure into our lives also brings strength into our lives because it recharges us. Many times people forget about these things. Many times people forget to take their pleasuring times as well. We have to keep the balance. And I want to remind you of the importance of these moments as well. Don't feel bad if, you're doing everything in a really healthy way and you also do something maybe that can be a little bit unhealthy but pleasurable, like a piece of cake, right? Don't feel bad about it. If you are proud of yourself and you're really happy for everything you've achieved, well, you deserve that. Isn't it true? So, you see, the problem is when we start overusing our pleasures because we're escaping from somewhere. But when we're actually rewarding ourselves, it's a different story. But we have to keep things in a great balance with a great amount of self-control, and it can only happen if we fail many times at that, right? It's hard to be wise if you've never failed. And if you've never failed, it means you've never tried. And if you've never tried, then what are you doing? So a great reminder for right now. The third reminder is that your deep insights right now, because of Mercury in Scorpio, and many details may be found in your self-research, introspection. For example, if you will be meditating these days, or you will be reflecting on how your life is going, you may experience a lot of insights, what you have to do, what you need to do, what would be good for you doing more often. Like, when you sit down and you meditate, and so many ideas found you during this process. It happened to me today, like I was meditating and soon I needed to grab my notebook to write many things down that came to me in meditation, like things I knew I need to do but I forgotten, so I wrote them down during meditation. Many deep insights may find you right now, so take time and meditate and reflect and go into introspection. Introspection is again like a meditative process where you may close your eyes or you may go for a walk with an intention to clarify something, to find, this, let's say, to let the noises in your mind settle, like the dirty water in the glass. When you put that glass on the table, what happens? After a few minutes, the dirt will fall down onto the surface and you will have a clear water. That's what's something good you can do today or in these days. Like, detach from distractions that are poisoning your mind. For certain periods in your day, like, let's say in the middle of the day when you have a full mind, let's just shut off your phone and be in quietness, or go for a walk, or just go into nature, and for 1 hour, if possible, just be there without any impulse of external, news or music or sound or book or whatever. So you can see what's happening within you, especially when your thoughts calm and you kind of detach from all that activity, when everything settles. There's deep quietness, and in quietness, usually there come insights to us, like those crystallized thoughts, right? And when we experience them, we know what to do with them. If we write them down, we don't forget them. So later in a day, we can actually do something with them. That's something you may feel today. Then the fourth thing is that you may feel like your passions are fueling up and intensifying, driving you forward towards certain goals that you've set during this full moon. You may feel more passionate right now, more, all this energy may be intensifying, pushing you towards doing the work and finding this right path that can only be found by trying what you've set for yourself and being consistent with it, right? If you're staying in tune with yourself during this time, you will notice that maybe what you've been doing until now requires some upgrades, some updates. Like I've shared with you, I've started adding up something to my art, as my paintings are they're all coming from my imagination. They are quite free, and now I've started, painting some sacred geometry. I got myself into a deeper understanding of it, because, it can change a lot in my art career as I'm seeing the progresses of everything that's happening. So it's just leveling up after leveling up, and we never know where a certain journey will take us until we get on it and we try different things. So don't be afraid of trying something new. And if you feel passionate about it, let's dive into it and see where it will take you. The fifth thing is to embrace the change right now. Something may be changing in your life that you couldn't predict in the past. And maybe you've been trying to deny it or to push it away. If it is happening, embrace it. And to embrace a change, what does it mean? It means, again, that you accept it. It means that you stop reacting to it, you stop trying to ignore it, you just say, well, okay, this happened, let's see what can we do now. And usually it just takes us to a whole new level that can only be experienced again if we embrace it and recognize that it's actually bringing us some new insights, some new knowledge and new possibilities, new opportunities that can only be found if we grab it, and with some sense of courage, we step into it and become the change, whatever life is wanting us to become from that certain, maybe unpredictable event or whatever happened. So embrace that change. And the last thing I want to give you is to let your visionary spirit within you, let your inner visionary lead the way right now. And with that, it sounds mystical, and it is, because you are mystical. I want to remind you that your journey is evolving so beautifully. And you may say that it's not. You may think like, oh, I'm not experiencing any progress. But progress is happening sometimes in disguise, right? It's not visible to our eyes, and it's maybe not felt to our feelings, but it's happening in the background until one day we come to a certain point where suddenly so many things start clicking and showing up, and it may become quite overwhelming. And that's the progress. And visionary, visionary is this ability to see your future and to walk towards it, a future that is created by you, designed by you, chosen by you. And you walk through it, you wake up with a feeling of it. So you let go of your past and you fall in love with your future. That's what you're doing. Your past is gone and your future is where you're heading. But if you don't design it, your future becomes a repetition of your past, right? So visionary is the one that's constantly changing his life or her life, because your future is constantly changing. Each day you're more evolved, more acknowledged. Each year you're, wiser, right? So your future, if you're walking as a visionary, feeling as a visionary, is constantly changing, and therefore your life is constantly changing. If your life is not changing, it means you have to tap into that visionary, to wake up with a vision of the future, to visualize it, to write it down, to talk about it to yourself. Don't talk about it to those who don't believe in yourself. Talk about it to yourself. And write down what can you do to actually get there. Because deep inside, your subconscious mind has infinite amounts of answers that will just come to you when you start using your intentions more wisely. While your body may be intention, may your heart have intentions, right? So you can actually go from being intention to become intentional. And suddenly you may start to feel grateful for everything that's about to come. And when gratitude truly becomes a foundation, your life starts to become really stable. And nobody can take that from you. When you're grateful, nobody can take it from you. Whatever may be lost, nothing is a loss. Nothing is a loss. When you are grateful, nothing is a loss. But sure, it's not something mental, right? It's something that happens when we open our hearts and we practice it daily. So it becomes a habit. Like being sad and frustrated and worried was a habit for such a long time. Let now love and gratitude and passion become our natural states. So my friends, I hope any of that resonates with you. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. I want to remind you, we are running a unique sale in our Etsy store where you can find my art 20 off to all of my art. So go there and check it out. Thank you so much for your support. Until next time, one love.